he has repeatedly said that, yes, tariffs would be placed for countries like Turkey, the European nations, and China going forward.
Yeah, this obviously he loves tariffs. Going back to his first term, he labeled himself a tariff man, and going into this term, throughout the campaign, he kept bringing up tariffs as a policy that he was going to favor, and that has proven to be the case during his first several months in office, where he's obviously leveled these tariffs in general, flat 10% rate, but then obviously having these varying rates for everybody else. He has used that both as a means of what at least members of his economic team have argued is a need for correction to global imbalances. There is a little bit of truth to that. Whether the tariff is the appropriate way to fix that is another matter. But obviously, and hence to your question, he's also been turning to tariffs as just an overall policy tool. Any type of means of coercion, even if the policy that he's trying to correct doesn't necessarily have anything to do with tariffs, or wouldn't even be something that you would necessarily turn to tariffs to use. He views tariffs as a means of effective economic coercion, separate from economic sanctions more generally, which of course have been used, and maybe in some instances sanctioning a specific type of economic transaction might be more appropriate than leveling a massive tariff on all goods coming from a country. But that is where he's coming in. Now, there is a little bit of, it's a little bit understandable about why he's demanding that he's going to impose tariffs, because one of his biggest critiques of European countries, India, China, has been the fact that they continue to buy oil from Russia, and that has enabled Russia to continue to fund its war machine. That has been a key part, that despite the level of sanctions that were imposed going back to 2022, and of course Russia was already under sanctions prior to that, including sanctions that Trump himself had imposed during his first term, but these sanctions ramped up with the full invasion of Ukraine. But despite that, countries continue to buy Russian energy, Russian oil. European countries, despite the fact that yes, they have reduced the amount of Russian energy that they've been purchasing, they are still acquiring energy from Russia. And countries like India have really just taken advantage of the fact that Russia has been selling this oil at a discount. And they're, India in some ways, and we can talk more about India, but I kind of view India as recently being the epitome of the realpolitik country.